ladies and gentlemen. How is it going? So, I'm on my last day of home time here before I head back on the road, and I just thought that I would talk a little bit more about Rogel Lazaro Aguilera-Mederos and his situation with the 110 years of sentencing that he got for the wreck that he caused about 2 years ago in in Colorado off of I-70, where four lives were unfortunately lost due to his negligence while driving a semi truck. I did a video about this while I was in Utah. Kind of did it in the middle of the night. And after I just kind of been watching a couple of videos on the situation, it was the day of the sentencing. And hadn't really had another chance to sit down and pay attention to the eyewitness footage and um, just do a little bit more reading on everything, on the businesses that he worked for, and the just the whole wreck in general. And what I wanted to do in this video too was spend a little bit of time actually watching the video with y'all so that maybe we can break it down and see where he went wrong and how we as truck drivers can maybe use this as a learning experience for our own sake so that this way we know exactly what we can do during these times when if we ever get ourselves into that situation. You never know, right? So I just thought that I would kind of talk about that a little bit. Kind of been thinking about it for a while. One of the things I do want to talk about is the company that he worked for. I haven't been able to track down the name of the company that he worked for, but based on the research that I've done, I have been able to see that that company has reformed itself. Like they folded and then reformed it, like came out under a new moniker. And it's very interesting that the company would do that. It's almost like they're trying to clean the slate for themselves a little bit, which is kind of fishy, right? But anyways, the boss, his boss, the guy, Rogel's boss, seems to have had a history of trucks that have had defective brakes. This is not the first time that defective brakes have been reported on this business's trucks on their fleet. So it makes it a little bit easier for his story that he had defective brakes to look like the truth. Um, for all intents and purposes, that really could have been the case. Um, so you look at that, right? And just from that alone, that tells you what kind of business this guy was working for. That the business may have not been kosher, may have not been all about safety and maybe just about the money. And unfortunately, because when you look at the database and whatnot of how many trucking companies are out here, I mean, just go to a major city and look up trucking companies just for the city. You're gonna get like a laundry list of them. And the same thing goes just around the whole nation, really. You're going to find thousands of trucking companies. And just like with any other businesses out there in any other field, you're going to find some that are going to cut corners and maybe not do things to the book. But man, it's really hard to think about it when it involves trucks and semi trucks and whatnot. And it's like that's to me, I feel like that's very dangerous that you would go that route. I mean, I could understand, like a fast food restaurant maybe cutting some corners here and there, or you know, an office job cutting some corners to save a little money here and there. But when it comes to motor vehicles, any business that involves a motor vehicle or a aerial, like airplanes and whatnot, and trains for that matter, locomotives. Any of that industry, I feel like there's not a lot of cutting corners you should do when it comes to that, because you put people's lives at risk when you do that. I think that's should be what should be important But everyone's looking to save a penny here and there, and they'll do anything sometimes to not have to spend it. So, but anyways, I don't want to focus too much on the business. I just thought when I read that, I was like, oh, geez. So apparently, this business that he worked for has had a history with having trucks out there with defective brakes, and so it's like, well, sucks for him, I guess, from that perspective. And if that company has come back from the grave and decided to operate again, man, I just hope that they try to do better the second time around, and that they're not just doing the same things that they were doing before and putting out drivers that are either not experienced or don't have enough common sense to make proper decisions. And because if not, you're going to get a repeat of this again at some point, and that's not what we need in the industry. This is not what needs to be talked about constantly when it comes to the trucking industry. Is drivers don't know how to drive, and drivers don't care about other drivers on the road. They don't give a crap about them, and they just care about themselves. And I'll tell you, from just a little experience that I have so far, I don't think like that when I'm on the road. I think about myself for sure because I'm behind the wheel, but I'm also thinking about everybody else around me. And I'm also trying to learn how to think, 5 steps ahead, right? Like if I see a problem, how am I going to handle that problem? How am I going to get out of that problem? That's where my mindset is right now as I'm learning, as I'm slowly learning this industry, and learning how to do this job, is how to get yourself out of a bind almost quickly, because that's so much time you got. So I don't know, like looking back on this whole thing and reading and watching the videos and all that, it's a real shame that what it seems like at the end of the day was a major lack of common sense, really. And unfortunately, I will say this: that's something that you can't teach somebody. I mean, I jokingly say that, but I'm kind of serious. You can teach somebody how to fill out a form. You can teach somebody how to turn a wheel. You can teach somebody how to push a brake and how to push an accelerator, how to shift a gear. You can teach anybody that. You can teach anybody how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, right? But when you leave them to their own, you hope they have the common sense to remember it takes 2 slices of bread, some peanut butter, and some jelly to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Now, if that person decides, oh no, I'm going to put actual butter in there and then I'm going to put peanuts, you can't help that. You can't teach common sense. I know that's not the best analogy to use here, but I mean seriously, like you can't teach common sense, and this would happen during this whole thing here. To me, just seems like a very big lack of it. And whether he got the proper training or not, and I'm going to venture to say that because of what I've read about the business that he worked for, maybe he didn't. But either way, man, you have to have some real common sense here to do things correctly. You just can't play around with things like that. Can't play around with people's lives. You just can't do that. So what I wanted to do was take a look at this video here. I'm gonna walk through it with y'all, and kind of see where he went wrong and what we could do as truck drivers to make sure that if we're in this situation, what we can do to get ourselves out of it, right? So let's go ahead and let's do that right now. All right, guys. So what we're watching here is video footage taken by someone that was following the truck as it was already losing control down I-70. This video footage was provided to Fox Denver, so I'll make sure to give the credit to them. But we're just gonna kind of watch this and see what was happening here. I'm not gonna use any of the audio. I'm just gonna kind of commentate through it. So the first things that we see is that right here, he's already passed by the runaway truck ramp. Me and you watching this video can see clearly on a person's cell phone video, mind you. This is the person that's behind them. Even with the quality of the video where it's at, you can clearly see that it says runaway truck ramp in 2,000 feet. To give you a little bit of perspective of what 2,000 feet is, It's still, you're going fast, right? Because if you look at the speed limit signs, I believe that says it's hard to read, but I believe it's 65 to 75, if I'm not mistaken. Pause it there. It's actually 65 and 45. I believe that's probably a 45 when bad weather. I believe that's what that sign says. I could be wrong about that, but most of the signs that I've seen in the Colorado area, if especially if you're going through these steep grades, you're going to see things that are going to say like 65, but 45 during inclement weather. In this case, as you can see in the video, uh, there's no snow, there's no rain. It's a pretty dry day, so going 65 down this, going 65 on this road would be okay for most people. Of course, if you're in a truck, you just kind of want to gauge how you're going down this grade based on your weight of the truck, and just you want to watch the back of your trailer to make sure you're not fishtailing. Sorry guys, that's my cat in the background. But so let's continue watching the video here. He's already passed by the first warning sign that says 2,000 feet to the exit ramp, and you can see the commentary that the person on the video is making here. And and right there, let's pause it again. You can't see it clearly in the video, but what that clearly is right there, and based on the splitting of the line here, that is the exit ramp, the emergency exit ramp. Right here is where about maybe 100 feet ago, he should have already been in this lane if he felt that his brakes were no go. And the reason that I know, or that I feel like at this point his brakes are definitely no go, is because he's already speeding pretty fast, and now he's going to lose control of the truck. It's going to fade over to the left and almost hit this white truck that's right to the left of him. So this is where, to me, I go back to common sense, man. As a truck driver, whether you're taught this or trained to do this is just as a driver in general, right? This doesn't even involve trucks at this point. It goes back to common sense. Common sense tells you that if you're driving a vehicle down, regardless of if it's down a hill on a straight flat surface, who cares? If you do not have control of your vehicle, the ability to stop your vehicle because your brakes are not working, you're pressing down on that pedal and it ain't doing shit. Your first instinct, common sense, should be what? Get off the road. Do everything in your power to get off the road. First instinct, right? So in this video alone, you're seeing that he had the opportunity to hit the exit ramp or the emergency ramp, and he didn't. He just continued to pass by. So let's just say, for instance, you were trying to figure this out, and you accidentally did pass up that ramp thinking, I can get this thing to stop, right? I don't know why your mind would go to that. That's just a common sense thing, but hey, you've already passed it up. So what do you do next? What should be your second instinct? Well, you missed your opportunity to get off the road, because now, as you can see, there's not very many places where he could go to get off the road. Now, what he could do is he could he could let this truck go, not ram him, veer all the way to the left and hit the inside of the hill. There's an incline right there, as you see. Let's progress the video a little bit forward and see if I can get a better visual of that. Right, kind of missed it here, but right there. So right here, he's already kind of veering to the left because he's starting to lose control of the vehicle because it's going way too fast going down. So here, if this truck's he's almost gonna hit this truck. What you should do here, what your second instinct should be, is that if you miss that ramp and you can't hit the exit ramp, you're already done. That would have been your safest bet, and you decided not to do that. So now you see you got a big hill over here on the left side, a really big hill. You're not going to drive up it, but I guarantee you, if you take a hard left and go straight towards that hill, your truck will tip on that hill. Are you going to create a lot of damage? Hell yeah. Are you probably going to hurt yourself because you're driver's side ramming yourself into a hill? Hell yeah. Are you going to destroy other people's vehicles if you hit that hill? Maybe, but maybe not. Get off the road. Get off of it. That's what I'm trying to say here. It's common sense. You didn't hit the ramp. You missed it. Okay, veer hard left and hit this hill. Go. Your truck may roll up it for all matter. It may flip over. But that vehicle is gonna stop, and you're not gonna fall off that hill to your death. You're just gonna ram it, and your truck's just gonna stop. You're gonna create a big old mess, but that's it. That's all that's gonna happen if you veer to the left and go off the road and hit that hill. You're not gonna continue going down, but that's not what he did there. Common sense mistake number 2. So now, as we progress in the video here, let's just keep going. You see, he right there. He was already veering left. If he would have kept going left, he would have hit the hill. So I guess in this point in his head, he doesn't want to hit that hill. He doesn't want to go off the road here. He didn't want to hit that truck, so he veered off to the right a little bit. Now he's going all the way back almost to the middle of the lanes, which he still has decided to stay on the road. And that's the part that I don't understand. Here at this point, your options now, if you've already decided you're not going to get off the road and you don't have service brakes, you're pushing that pedal, you got nothing. You may try to pull your trailer brake, your handbrake, and if nothing's coming out of that handbrake on the trailer, then I mean, your last bet is to try your engine. Put that thing on max. I'm not sure what year this truck is. It doesn't look like a fancy truck, but most trucks, dating back to at least 15, 20 years have engine brakes. So try to pull the engine brake at that point. But really, brakes aside, guys, I mean, common sense tells you can't control your vehicle because you got no brakes. You got to get off the road. You got to do everything in your power to get off that road and try to get yourself to some kind of a stop. You're not going to be able to stop it using brakes. Your instinct should not be to use other cars to stop you. Your instinct should be to get yourself to a stop with the most minimal amount of collateral damage that you can take, that you're gonna give. You're gonna fuck up the truck. There's no way to get around that. You're gonna damage the truck. You're gonna wreck it. That's already a given. When you got no brakes going down a hill, you're gonna wreck that truck. You're gonna mess it up. But if you use common sense, you're gonna be able to get yourself out of a situation that could be disastrous like this one. Let's keep watching the video. Let's keep going. So as you see, he's curving. At this point, there's another truck sign that he passes up. I believe this is I believe that was just the truck warning, the warning for trucks to not be on the left lane. I can't remember what those are specifically, but as you can see, the person that's filming the video, their little quote there is exactly, it's like, why didn't he use the ramp? Like, he's got to use the ramp. He's gonna he needs to pull over. He needs to take the ramp. This is what he should have done. Now so we're getting that same angle again, right? He misses the ramp. He had an opportunity right there. Take that ramp, man. And then right here, if not all the way to the left, all the way, hit that hill. Now this is just like the district attorney, the legal guy or whatever that's talking about it and whatnot, that he had an opportunity. And then that's pretty much, I mean, the rest of the video is mostly just a perspective. But here's the one that's kind of funny. I say it's funny. It's not really funny at all. But this is a YouTuber that was doing a video here in his car, and you can see just how fast this guy comes. Whoa, like that is insane. How fast that guy is coming down the hill at that point, and how he's still coming down. He still hasn't decided to get off the road. He's in the middle. That's what kind of fascinates me, is that if you pay attention close enough, he's not over here on the far right. He's not over here on the far left. He's in the middle. There's a car right there that's right next to him on the right. Why are you in the middle? Common sense tells you if you're losing control once again, get yourself to the far right. You got room over here. You got grass. You got grass over here, bro. And he didn't do that. He just zoomed right by. He's out of control. He's got nothing. He think he took this guy's mirror off. And then this is your cause. Unbelievable. How devastating is that? How tragic is this? How crazy is this whole that guy caused this whole entire thing to look like that? That's a damn shame. And all because, and to me, I felt like it's not because he got improper training. It's not because his company sucks and they're notorious for having excessive defective brake problems. It's not even really because he lost his brakes. It's because he didn't use common sense. And sometimes you just can't teach that to people. You can't teach common sense to people. I can sit here and I can teach you how to do anything, right? I'm a professional at my trade or something, right? I'm not a professional at trucking yet, but I'm gonna go back to one of my other jobs, and I'm a professional IT technician. Been in IT. I did IT for over 10 years, so I consider myself a pretty good professional at it. I can sit you in front of a computer and I can show you how to use it. I can show you how to fix it. I can show you how to do all this stuff with them. Create networks, blah, 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 etc., etc. I can teach you how to do all that. What I can't teach you is common sense. I can tell you, get yourself into the situation here. This is how I get out of it because this is my first instinct here. But I can't teach you common sense. I can only tell you and give you the tools and hope that you use your own common sense to say, I got a problem. I got to do whatever I can to get myself out of it. And in this industry in particular, most of the time when you have a problem or it's a mistake, it's because the mistake or the problem is you're about to hit somebody. You're about to hit something. You're about to create some damage. It's inevitable in this industry, and if you're a trucker, that you are more than likely going to cause some kind of damage in some way or another during your career. If you are a picture-perfect driver and you've never done that before, kudos to you. Keep doing you. Keep being a badass. But for most of us out here, one way or another, you're going to cause some kind of damage. The thing is that if you use proper common sense when you're operating these vehicles, you're going to be able to prevent things like this from happening. At worst, you might wreck somebody's car. You might knock it off the road. You might injure yourself. You might total your own truck. But you're not going to create what this created. You have so many opportunities to decide that you got to do something about the problem that you're having to minimize the mistake that you're about to make. And a lot of that just comes down to common sense, which is why I'm going to roll back to this. I'm going to go ahead and get out of this here because we don't need to be watching this, and I don't really want to look at this thing anymore. So what it comes down to, guys, is that a lot of people over these past couple of days, have been debating on whether or not this guy deserved to get 110 years because of what happened. He got 110 years of prison time because he committed 27 acts of crime, including vehicular manslaughter, which is really, really bad. And if you watch the video that we just watched, you can see exactly why he had to get what he got. Is 110 years, is that justified for a person that says they made a mistake? It's hard to tell, right? It's different from state to state. State governments have different criterias for how many years you're going to spend in prison depending on what the crime that you made. But man, when you take out 4 people in a vehicle accident that you caused, nobody else caused it, you caused it. It's hard to challenge that in my view. Would I have given him 110 years in prison? I don't know. It's not really for me to say, I guess. Do I think he needs to be in jail and serve time because of the crime that he committed? I do. I agree with that. If anybody's saying that he doesn't need to be in jail at all, then I think you need to check yourself at the door and take a look at what you're actually looking at, because or show me what you're looking at, then I might be looking at it differently, because I don't know what that could be. I do think he deserves to spend some time in jail because yeah, this is bad. Look at the video and look at the mistakes that he made and what he could have done so many different times during that time period to prevent the maybe not prevent the inevitable. The inevitable was is that truck was gonna wreck. No matter what he did, that truck was gonna wreck one way or another. It hits that exit ramp, he probably damages the truck because he's out of control. He hits that ramp. He probably veers off and maybe tips it over while he's going up that ramp, and damages some of the truck. If he veers all the way to the left and hits that hill, he damages the truck. Maybe causes one car behind him maybe to pile up or maybe to wreck with him, but that's it. And then once again, coming down again, when he's sitting there in the middle of the lane, he has a chance to go all the way right and get the truck off of the highway. At worst, wrecks the truck and maybe wrecks two other cars with them. Something like that, right? But that's not what happened. So people want to put the blame on the justice system for feeling like they're giving him 110 years and they don't give other people that commit more heinous crimes forcibly that amount of time. Although I could guarantee you that if a person went to Colorado and shot 4 people in the head simultaneously, 1, 2, 3, 4, or even just 4 people in the head before getting caught, and they charge him with 4 counts of murder, I almost guarantee you he is not getting out of prison. That person is staying in prison for the rest of their life. Colorado doesn't have the death penalty, so they would just spend the rest of their life in jail. I guarantee you they're not coming out. So you can't really put apples to oranges that way. And so then the other thing is when people are complaining that, well, why is this guy getting all these years and all that fun stuff? Because of getting improper training or because his company was very negligent. Well, I'll give you this. The company may have been negligent in their servicing of their trucks. Very, very possible. Once again, a lot of companies cut corners and just to save a couple of pennies, and it could cost you in the end. Vehicles are going to be crap, and you're always going to have to be making little patchwork repairs versus major ones, sure. But most of the time, if you take care of that major issue, you're not going to have to worry about it for a long time. But a lot of companies don't work that way. A lot of them are like, let's put Band-Aids on everything. Just put a Band-Aid here, Band-Aid there, Band-Aid right here, and we'll be fine. We'll just keep doing it. It's fine if the person that's behind the wheel is able to use common sense to know when I'm in danger, I need to make a quick decision to get myself out of danger. And to make sure that I don't put other people in danger while I'm behind the wheel of this vehicle. And that's where I feel everyone has lost focus here in this whole thing. This petition, I haven't checked it in a couple of days, but the last time I checked it was over 4 million signatures to try and petition to get this guy's sentence decreased. And I was reading today that I think in a couple of days he actually is going to have a hearing. They granted him a hearing to see if they can grant him some leniency. I mean, it's all a part of the appeals process and things like that. So everyone kind of knew it was coming. It's just interesting to see that they are going to take a closer look at it and decide on whether or not maybe he should get less. I don't know. I think that's all up to the courts and whatnot, and it is what it is. I do think he needs to spend time there because he needs a lot of time to reflect on what he did because a lot of it was himself. A lot of it could have been prevented by just using general common sense. This doesn't even require any truck training. This is, I mean, yeah, it's good to know how to use your service brakes. Good to know how to use your engine brakes. Good to know how to use your trailer hand brakes. It's good to know where your exit strategies are here. It's good to know all that. It's good for a trainer and a company to tell you all this stuff and give you all the tools. But if somebody gives you all those tools and you just decide you're not going to use them, that's not on the company. That's not on the trainer. That's on you. That's on you, the person that has this here. You're the one that decides what this thing is going to do, whether you're behind the wheel of a truck, behind the wheel of a car, behind a keyboard, under, whatever profession that you decide to do. And whatever you do in life. This here is what ultimately makes the decision that you make. Not somebody sitting in the chair next to you. Not somebody standing behind you. This is right here is what makes that choice for you. Going back to it to put a bow on all this, right? You watch the video, and as a truck, this is specifically for truck drivers now. This is where we're gonna help each other out here, guys, as fellow truck drivers. If you are going down a hill, and you've noticed your brakes are not working. You look at your pressure gauge, you're pushing down on your pedal and you got no pressure going to your brakes. Your first instinct has got to be, I have to get this truck off the road. Immediately. I am a danger to myself and I am a danger to others on the road at this point. I need to get off the road. You move your eyes over. First thing you're going to look for is to see if you got an escape ramp you can take. All these escape ramps in the United States have a warning sign telling you there's an escape ramp within a certain amount of feet, usually about 2,000, to give you an opportunity, if you need it, to see that there's one coming up. And then you get one more sign that tells you this is the escape ramp right before you hit it. You got an opportunity there to go hard right and get that thing off and hit that ramp. That's what you should do. If not, if there's no escape ramp available to you, look at your surroundings. If you got, obviously you don't want to veer to the part, you don't want to turn to the part where you're going to fall off the hill or you're going to fall off the mountain and kill yourself, right? Because you're just going to fly off the mountain. But usually you're in a spot where if you go one way versus the other, you're not going to fly off. You're just going to go off the road. If you see that there's some grass over here on this side or on this side, you don't have an escape ramp, go towards that grass. Go towards that dirt. Get off the road. You're going to create an accident regardless. Chances are you may not if you hit the ramp. You might damage the truck. Sure, that's inevitable. You're going to damage the truck one way or another. But get it off the road. Get it off. Do not use other cars as a way to stop yourself. Because you don't know who's in those cars. You don't know if there's a family of 5 in that car. You don't know if that car is going to catch on fire if you ram into it. You don't know if everybody in that car has their seatbelts on and you just ram into them. That should not be an instinct at all. That is common sense. If you are out of control, you want to do whatever you can to get out of the way and minimize the mistake you're about to make. Live to fight another day. And don't take people with you on your way out. In this case, this guy didn't die, he's alive. So if he is remorseful, he will have to live with that guilt for a very long time, for the rest of his life, really. Hey, that's what happens when you don't use proper common sense. Get off the road, guys. Don't worry about the company that you're working for. Don't worry about your CDL at that point anymore. Worry about your life and the life of others. Because I guarantee you, if you hit that exit ramp, if you hit the hill on the left side and crash and wreck the vehicle, you're gonna feel bad for about 24 hours. But after that, you're gonna be able to look back at it and say, I didn't hurt anybody. I didn't hurt myself, really. I feel pretty good about that. Hey, you're suspended from driving for a month. It is what it is, man. At least I didn't hurt anybody. At least I didn't hurt myself. It's a situation that when it's over, if you do the right thing, you can talk it over with anybody. You can talk it over with your current employer. You can talk it over with future employers. In this case, because proper common sense was not used, this guy will not get another opportunity at life. His life is pretty much over. And the 4 people that were involved in the wreck that passed away, their life is over too. Sucks. It's really, really tough, guys. But as a truck driver, a new one in the industry, I can already see that a lot of this has to do with just having the right mindset up here and just knowing that when something goes wrong, you have to do what's right to make sure that the mistake that you make is about as small one as you can get. That's really what this business is about. You want to try to be mistake free, sure, but you're gonna make mistakes. But the key is just to use the right amount of common sense with the right amount of training, and just be safe out there. So it's easy to blame companies. It's easy to blame trainers. But at the end of the day, to me, I feel like a lot of it just has to do with you yourself. If you're going to roll out there and decide you are just not going to use any fucking common sense at all, you're just going to drive out there like a maniac, this is what's going to happen. And you're going to end up in jail for 110 years. Don't be that guy. Be better, be smarter, and be safer, guys. Peace.